Thank you very much, Bashar. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mohamed Bashir. I'm Technical Affairs Manager of the Regulatory Authority in Qatar. The domain name registry is part of my responsibility, so I want to explain to you in details about our implementation of IDNs from a registry point of view. I have been also involved in ICANN from 2001 in IDN policies, CCLD, IDN CCLD policies, policy development, and also IDN guidelines development. So I hope this live example could be very interesting. I think one of the first point I can see, and I'm sure you can see that, Mac is not Arabic friendly, because you can see that my Arabic text is scrambled immediately. So this is one of the issues we are facing about applications and software support for not just IDNs, even Arabic language. So the good thing I have a visual presentation. I'm a visual person, so I hope you like my pictures. Okay, so basically the internet demography is completely changing. I think currently we have about 2.2 billion internet users online. Yesterday I checked internet stats, and the number of Chinese internet users reached almost 591 million internet users. I think they are more than 22% of the total internet users for sure. In terms of the Arabic world, the growth is huge, especially after the Arab Spring. We're seeing huge growth of number of internet users coming, joining the internet in Egypt. We're seeing plus the number of users joining the internet. We're also seeing a growth of usage of social media as well. So the majority of the next internet users, English will not be their first language. It could be Hindi, it could be Cyrillic, it could be Chinese, Mandarin, it could be Arabic, but definitely it's not going to be English as a first language. And this is a challenge really we need to tackle, because at the end, the internet is really becoming an international platform. So we need, from a technical level, to understand that as well. So basically, the internet addresses is changing. It's changing at two levels. It's changing at the generic top-level domains area, but also importantly, before that, it's already changed at the country code level. We have now, in operation for the last 3 years, country codes that in Chinese, in Cyrillic, and in Arabic operation. So I will just start with the new GTLD changes. As Bashir has shown you some of the applications that you have seen on the list. So basically, this is the biggest internet change since its inception, I can say. So it's about 1,900 applications currently being applied. I think there's a majority of applications that has passed initial evaluation. That means probably by next year, March, that's the estimate of some registries to be online. That will mean that we'll have domain names for .anything, literally .anything. .horse, .music, .movies, .books, .you name it, .brands, .audi, .bm, .nokia, .qtel. Here, the operators are registering their names, .itisalat, .viva, .baytek, which is Kuwaiti Financial Bank. So it's almost .everything. It's like, I think it's, if you can have your name if you have 185,000 US and you applied for ICANN to get it. So it's a complete shift it completely changed the structure. How that will affect the users, no one knows. How that will generate new innovations in terms of how we access information online, actually no one knows. For example, Google have applied for about, I think, more than 100 new GTLD applications. What Google is planning to do with those, we don't know, but definitely sooner or later we know. So it was GTLDs first. It was the famous 6 or 10, ComNet, org, mil, gov, edu. Then expanded. Then we have biz, info, travel, all that. And we have also the country codes as well. which is cctld.kw.qa.qatar.uk.nz, New Zealand. And that's also are expanding. There are 200 and something. So on top of that, currently the next wave was IDN CCTLDs, internationalized domain names in the country code. So unfortunately, my موقعي.qatar is scrambled because if you just know the Arabic language, letters are connected, so the flow should be correct. But you will see it in a picture. That as well, it's like .emirate, .saudiya, .masr, and .ru, which is in equivalent to RU in Cyrillic. So those has started actually in 3 years back. So we have an operation of 3 years back registries. And then recently we have the new GTLDs, and we have IDN GTLDs, which is basically Bashir showed the list. .موقع, .baytek, .shabaka, .bazaar. I think there's a handful of those. So there's many also coming. .arab, .abu Dhabi is one of the cities they decided to have. .abu Dhabi in English and .abu Dhabi in Arabic. .com as well, .qtel and in Arabic as well. So that's a change. In terms of global IDN registrations, just to give you a glimpse of the numbers, the Russian registry is the most aggressive registry currently in terms of IDN registration. They have about almost, I checked yesterday their stats, which is online. They have about 800,000 .ru and Cyrillic domain name registrations. Then the Chinese, almost 270,000 domain name registered in simplified Chinese or traditional Chinese. Then Saudi Arabia, we have 1,920 domain names registered. I think in overall about their overall registration of SA is about 32,000. In Qatar, we have about more or less 500. Emirates, I think now they're reaching 600 domain name registration. So you can see clearly there's issues in terms of the adoption of Arabic domain names in the countries that have implemented those. And there's definitely reasons for that. I will come to it in a minute. So leading the growth, Russia, China. And interestingly, if you check the statistics of the Russian registries, you can see also that active websites under the Russian Cyrillic domain names are, I think it's about 30%. So we have as well defensive registration, park domains, inactive domains, redirected domains. This gives you an idea as well. But at the end, that number is also big. At the end, that's a big number. And I think it's also about the use of language online, the use of having the tools as well in the hand of the internet users to write in Cyrillic, to use online tools in Cyrillic. That's also contributed to their growth. Okay, so basically, I will now move into Arabic domain names. So in terms of the use of the Arabic domain names, Bahir now told us there's 11 delegated Arabic domain names representing country codes. There's Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Qatar, Jordan, Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, Syria, Palestine, I think Sudan, which have joined but not active. So, and there's publicly launched services under, I think, Saudi, Emirates, Qatar, Egypt, and Jordan, and Tunisia. Those are the operational now. Frankly, initially there was high expectations about the registrations initially, and actually there is a drive from the technical community and from academia for this change to happen. And we were among other colleagues from India, from China, from Russia, who were pushing for this to at least to have it operational. But I think it's the reality now. We have different challenges in using the Arabic domain names online. Among them, linguistic challenges related to the Arabic language itself. And there's also technical challenges related to us, the registries, how we deal with the Arabic language. And there's also issues about research and development, how we ensure that it's usable at the end. So quickly, what are the linguistic challenges? This is just maybe in a slide, Arabic language one-on-one. So it's Arabic language is complex and it's rich language in terms of there's a huge variation of words in Arabic language. It's written, as you know, from right to left. And it's one script, but it's used by different languages. So the Arabic script is used by Farsi, Urdu, Pashto, lots of languages that use Arabic script. Basically, in Arabic, we have 28 characters, and many characters have different shapes. It depends on their position in the word itself. So there's also variations or variants, as Bashir mentioned. So, for example, here the ya, if you can see here, the letter ya, which is supposed to be connected to the letter alif, and the same letter at the start of the word and the end of the word have the different shaping. And we have two different group set of numerics, of numbers. So a registry will decide in its language table which numbers to use, which is basically the Eastern numeric, which is those, or some call it the Hindi numerics. And then we have some linguists call it the Arabic numeric, which is currently it's used in Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, which is basically the same as the English numerics. So this is part of the linguistic complexity of initiating those. There's other technical issues. One of the major technical issues related to the Arabic domain names registration is the usability. We call it global acceptance. Basically, issues related to the browsers, to the applications level, and those. For example, currently this snapshot was taken from I took it from Explorer after our delegation of Qatar, and it basically clearly shows that Internet Explorer is not supporting the Arabic domain name because it converted the Arabic domain name to the equivalent of the characters we call the Punicode, which is basically that's the DNS records we enter. So basically the DNS in reality doesn't understand Arabic, it doesn't understand other languages, but it does understand the conversion of that. So we should have those applications, especially browsers, should enable users to see it as Arabic, not to convert it to the DNS string. So basically, that's the equivalent of university.qatar, jamia.qatar. So basically, that's an issue. And gradually have seen that browsers are increasing their support. The best one, I think, currently Firefox and Safari. Search engine and applications as well is an issue. Previously, if you typed an Arabic domain name or typed something about a website, and if it has Arabic domain names, it won't show on the list. But we're seeing an improvement in Google and how Google is handling IDNs. For example, you can now retrieve results from an Arabic IDN or Arabic domain name if you searched. So that's an improvement. Arabic emails, it's a big issue. My last maybe knowledge about where it is now, there's an RFC, an IETF that need to be finalized or approved. So Arabic emails need to be worked so that you can send an email from Ali at jamia.qatar to someone else and it's working. So that's currently is not working. There's some test is being done. Social media networks are not supporting IDNs in general. So for example, now in Twitter, if you did write Cyrillic, Chinese, and Arabic domain names, those domain names will not be linkable. It's not hyperlink. So if you type now in Arabic, jamia.qatar, it would not be clickable. So that's also a feature that's not working. Browsers and tablets as well in terms of support. So there is, beside implementing the Arabic domain names, we need to have applications as well ready for it. So now I will just talk to you from a registry experience, what we did and what we implemented. Unfortunately, that's the wrong representation of the word Qatar, but that's Mac. So, and that's Also, our domain name is not appearing well. So currently, we are managed three products, or basically three domains: .qa, legacy, cctld, .qatar, the new Arabic domain name, and .doha, which is the future domain name we applied for ICANN to get. Basically, Qatar Domains Registry is an initiative and a project of the Supreme Council of Information Communication Technology, which is basically the Ministry of ICT and Communication, if you can say, in Qatar. And we are adopting a registrar model. So basically, we liberalize the market. We took the registry from the incumbent operator, change the business model where we can have accredited registrars who can sell directly to the customers and public. So there's a competition in the domain name space. And also there's options for consumers, and there's also value-add services. Companies could bundle the domain names with other products. And registrars as well, they could have resellers to promote the business. So currently we have about, last month we did accredited 2 registrars. So in total, I think we have 15 now. 3 of them local, and the rest are international. The local are incumbent operator, and 2 other local firms. So they are well-known names in terms of registrars internationally. So now you can register .qa from everywhere through those registrars, and it doesn't take any time. So we're opening that. In terms of the distribution of our registration, we have now about 17,000. The IDN.Qatar is almost about 1 point something % of the total registrations. So you can see that although that we have registration, but it definitely is not competing with .qa. So, and I will show you now what are the main issues. So if you are a registry, a domain name registry, or a registrar, reselling business, what things you need to consider if you want to implement Arabic domain names? You need to have a registry system, like in our case that supports IDN, supports Arabic language. You need to have an identified language table, and so you need to have your language table ready, and that language table is going to be, let's say, it's not approved, but published by ICANN. The variant issues that actually Bahir and Bashir touched on it is very critical, because basically you have letters. I think we have 4 letters in the Arabic language that have different shapes: the ha and the ya and the waw and the alif. So basically you have almost between 2 to 3 variants of the same letter. So this example, unfortunately, the word here is supposed to be connected. So that's university.qatar, and that this is the ta marbuta, this letter, which is almost visually similar to the ha, but are 2 different letters, 2 different Unicode code points. So in order to avoid confusion, and it's basically there's lots of confusion that will happen on this issue, you need to be able to identify those variants when someone registers a domain name, and you need to make a decision about either to bundle them for that customer or either to not bundle them. It depends on your policy. So for example, and that's a sensitive area, because, for example, I can give an example, a similar word. The word Quran and the word Qiran visually are identical, in meaning that completely different. The holy book and almost the equivalent of marriage. So it's completely different for it. So you need to be sensitive about those. Currently in our policy, we are bundling, so to just avoid confusion. So Ahmed.Qatar will have another domain name associated with that registration, which is the alif with Hamza, unfortunately not appearing well. And then after bundling, we need to make, or the registrant, the user, have an option either to activate that domain name or just to block it from others to register it. So there's technical issues really and need to be considered. So what we did do to try to have an uptake on the registrations, we tried to have something called a pioneers campaign. So before launching, we contacted some big names, some big websites, tried to convince them to use the Arabic domain name as an example. And actually, we had one of the developers develop this site. It's basically a very interesting site. It's called ishma'na.qatar, which is, ishma'na is like, what is the meaning? So basically, he was able to develop a script that's aggregated Twitter feeds that explains Qatari dialects. So there was a hashtag. People were writing Qatari words and their meanings. So he captured that and put it in a website. So that was one of the first example of using that, because if he wanted to register, in English, the main name for this, it will be very difficult for him to find the right domain name that's with the same meaning, ishma'na. He will have lots of variations of the English domain name, but now he have exactly what he wants in Arabic. So at the registry, you need to put examples. The University of Qatar was one of the first examples. We also approached newspapers also to enable that. At the registry, you need to build trust, and in order to do that, you need to have the domain name visible. The more you see domain names, .kw domain names at the street, in the newspaper, the more you feel is trust and you feel that it's your first option. So that's what we try to do in terms of making it visible to others, even the Arabic domain name. So this is a newspaper, and you can see that they have an Arabic domain name and they have English domain name as well. So what are the challenges? In our case, it's basically Qatar is 1.8 million population. It's a small market. Even the registry is, if it grows, we have a limitation on that. Highly educated internet users they're very familiar with using English. So it's also one of the barriers of using Arabic domain names. For example, for China, there is a good uptake because in order for the Chinese internet community to grow and more users to be online, they want the Chinese guy to go online without really have to learn English and write www something, which is a Chinese website in English. Sorry, and that's the main value of IDNs. For people who cannot use the language, but we want to bring them online. When we have also the issue of the support of applications, email is not working. It's not just for Arabic, by the way. It's for the rest. It's for the Chinese, for the Cyrillic. I mean, until now, there is no global, let's say, standard for exchanging of emails between IDNs domain. So it's a big issue for everyone, not just Arabic domains. So what do you need to do? You need to be really innovative. Even at the registry, although we have registrars, but we had to do marketing and awareness, because otherwise where uptake is an issue. So you need to have at least someone on your team or at the registrar, you need to do really marketing. So we were engaged in local exhibition, IT exhibition. We have a branding that's local. So Dirati Nitaqi is basically my country, my domain. So you need to brand it. You need to do advertisement. We have advertisement for .qa when we launch, for .qatar as well. We used magazines like in airlines. So you need to really to go to other level in terms of, and that's has been done in Arabic and English as well. And our campaign was based on three things: trust, availability, and identity. So basically, we're saying it's a trusted name, so it's respected, available, and personal. So it's respected because you associate with yourself, with a brand. It's available because you can choose, you can have the options of names which is not available otherwise, and it's personal. So this is just an example of what we did. Recently, we have launched a mobile app. And the idea of the mobile app, which is if you go in your mobile phones now to App Store, you can search by Qatar domains. You can find an application now you can download. And our idea is very simple. And unless it's on the hands of the people, someone could check immediately their names if it's available and do some functionality. We're not reaching also a majority of users. So you can download this application from the store. Just write Qatar domains. And it basically, you can search for domain names. You can find domain names under the different zones we have: QA, com.qa, not.qa, gov, mil, all. I did try a domain name which is not available, but if you find it available, it will direct you to the registrar list, so you can buy it from there. The who is function as well, it's in the handset, so you can also check the domain name ownership, so you can write any domain name and get its who is details. And you can also do a password recovery. So basically, when you need a transfer from a registrar, you need a password, so you can recover your password. It will be sent to your email. So we tried our best to have, and we have our policies as well on the application, FAQs and the support. So we tried to have the majority of the functionality in the handset. And that application is on Android and in Apple OS as well. So the solutions forward to the challenge of adoption of Arabic domain names, for me, it's joint research between academia and technical community to overcome those issues. We need to have people in the region, from the region, as Bashir said, to engage with ICANN and with other technical community to resolve issues like variance at the GTLD level. We need to talk with software vendors. We need to talk with Firefox, Mozilla. We need to talk with Apple. We need to talk with others to ensure that their applications support Arabic domain names. We need to do marketing and awareness as well, because there's many people who don't know that this still exists. And we need to encourage content development. If there is no content, actually it will be, unfortunately, the users will not be that useful, because now we're seeing that corporates registering Arabic domain names and pointing them to the Arabic websites and using the English domain name to point to the English website. But I think there is more than that in terms of content development. So by that, I conclude saying the correct thank you. Unfortunately, it's not the scrambled thank you, but thank you very much.